Hey guys, we're off on our date night to the city to a South Korean restaurant called Arirang to experience the Korean cuisine from our hometown of Perth. So come with me. So that was a little bit of a different intro for you guys, just seeing a little bit inside our date night, a little bit of Perth that you see there as well, and I hope you enjoyed it. We've decided to theme our date night each month to go with the bullet journal month. So yeah, that should be interesting to see if we can find a restaurant each month to suit the country. And now we're moving on to me setting up the bullet journal for the month of September, which I am officially calling my bullet journey now. I've basically taken on this idea of this girl who travels around the world. She's basically me, and we get to go to all these locations and I get to research them and then put them into these books that I can remember forever. And I'm really enjoying the process. So I thought I would call this series My Bullet Journey. And here we are starting in South Korea. I didn't know that much about it. Immediately, I went to neon lights and technology and, busy city, fast-paced kind of ideas. So what I wanted to do with the front page is this sort of look at a nighttime scene in the city of Seoul in South Korea. So automatically, I thought of the neon lights and I thought, how can I get that across? So I thought I would use highlighters. So here they are, a bunch of highlighters. I found all the ones that I had, including a highlighter pencil and a paint Posca pen. I don't actually use the paint pen actually because I ended up really liking the highlighters. At first, when you see the highlighters going down, you realize how tricky they are to blend. You just can't get the colors to merge nicely like you would with alcohol markers. So they are water-based, so that's why they just don't behave nicely when they blend together. So that was a bit of a tricky point, but I love the colors, and eventually I got them to work and give me that neon sort of vibe that I wanted to go for and wanted to achieve. So as you've seen, I've started the whole picture inside a circle, and I'm just using my Pigma microns to outline everything and give me a basis to work on. And then I'm filling in everything with the highlighters, and I'm trying to stick to like a purple and pink sort of tinge. What I did to get a reference for this is I found a photo of Seoul, and it was neon, but there was a lot of yellows and oranges and reds, quite a lot of clashing colors as well. It was like too much color. Because I wanted to stick to like really highlighter basics, I ended up altering the image in Photoshop and just made it all tones of pinks and purples and blues. And so that's how I got the image to work from. And then a lot of it is just guesstimation. And then what really made it pop is adding the white gel pen to it. That's when I feel like it came alive. And then after that, I just cut it out in a circle and I placed it into my bullet journal, leaving a gap in the middle so that the page can still turn over easily. And then I thought I'd add a nice pattern around the edge using a Korean style border and then trimming that edge to be my Dutch door. And here I thought I was done, but then I thought, no, there's not enough highlighter. I got highlighter happy. I put a blue ring and a pink ring down on the page, and I felt like that sort of tied the whole cover spread together. So onto this next spread, and this is where I put my monthly calendar. It's only small because really all I put on here is birthday reminders and special occasions that I don't want to forget. So it's nice to have one spot for that. And then on here, I like to add a little cleaning task list that I'm supposed to achieve throughout the month. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I like to have this as a reminder there of what I know should be done that month. I've also got a little bit of a YouTube growth tracker down at the bottom section, which I've included in the Korean flag, the South Korean flag. Now I'm coloring it in, and be mindful that this isn't the accurate colors of the flag. The circle symbol in the center, which is called the Taegeuk, is actually red on the top and blue on the bottom. Now this symbol represents balance in the universe, and so the top section represents all the positive cosmic energy, and then the blue section is representing the opposing negative energy and forces. And then the black strokes on the outside of that circle are representative of heaven, earth, water, and fire. And then to add something to this spread to jazz it up, I wanted to include a reference to Gangnam Style performed by Psy. Now, I didn't realize how far this song went, but this was madness in South Korea. I managed to track down a video that I'll link to in the description box. It's basically an event in Seoul, and there's, I think, 80,000 people all like bouncing in rhythm to Gangnam Style. It's very impressive to see. An awesome song that you can't really get out of your head ever. The next page that I'm going to set up is my needs and wants page. I wanted to use this page to represent the technology industry in South Korea. I researched that it is basically the place with the highest number of robots in manufacturing. And speaking of, when we went to that Korean restaurant, Arirang, one of the waitresses had a tattoo of a robot on her arm. And so I got a little bit of a footage for it just to tie that into the video. And Seoul is ranked as the world's leading digital city and a tech capital of the world. So I really wanted to express this in one of the pages in my journal. And so I chose this cool virtual reality style look and tried to keep that neon going with lots of highlighter action. And I think it turned out really nicely and suited the theme of the needs and wants too. So here on the meal planner page, I wanted to include the national dish of kimchee, which is basically fermented vegetables like cabbage that has like a chili sauce through it. And then I also included the Bibimbap, which is another Korean famous dish, and the national spirit of Soju. Okay, now I'm going to try kimchi for the very first time. Ooh. I like that. Really chilly, but I like it. Yeah. See, I found it quite nice. I also tried soju that night, which I found to taste a lot like vodka, but maybe just a little less potent. But you're supposed to drink it straight. I chickened out and ordered Sprite to go with it. Okay, and now I'm moving on to my favorite spread of these setups, and that's the mind map page. So this is where I put all the information that doesn't have a proper spot in the rest of the setup, something that I need to quickly jot down and remember for later. Now, because I've kind of created a theme on this page to do a lady's face from that culture or that country that I'm exploring, and so I wanted to do a Korean woman's face, and I thought it might be the ideal time to do a famous K-pop star. So I chose Quan Boa. I think she's just known professionally as Boa, and she is apparently the queen of K-pop and has been around since 2000. So she's been there a long time and is really, really well known. And she's very beautiful, and I found this awesome photo that had like neon lighting on it, and I thought that was perfect for this setup. Now, on my previous monthly bullet journals, if you guys haven't seen them, I'll link a few of the recent ones down in the description box. But I've basically been following this theme where I do part of the drawing quite realistic in Prismacolor pencils like I'm using here. And then I'll go and switch to like markers for outside of the skin. So it just kind of gives this cool contrast between realism and then a bit more graphic sort of outlines. Now, after trying to blend with those highlighters earlier, it was such a pleasure to be able to blend with the pencils, and it was so fun doing this color, this sort of neon blue falling onto this very pinky red toned face. It was, yeah, like really different for me. I'd never done or drawn anything like this that had that kind of neon vibrant lighting on it. So it was a lot of fun. And so here I'm sketching in with the markers now, doing all her outfit and her hair all in just black marker. And she was wearing like a very lacy top, so that was a little bit painful to put in. And then I just added the highlighter on the outside to be the backlighting. So it was like a nice neon pink in the background. I also love to add the national flower of the country that I'm doing into this spread. So the national flower of South Korea is the hibiscus. So I've added one in her hair and then one just to tie across to the other page down below. And I like to keep those just in marker as well. So the only thing that's really colored realistically is her face and hand. I'm really, really happy with how this page turned out. It's officially now my favorite mind map page that I've done. Yeah, I did love Morocco for a long time and it was hard for me to get better than that, but I feel that I've achieved it in this one. I really love the neon colors and the tones and the blending. And then I also really love the way that mind map is written in kind of like a neon sign. Okay, this next spread is my Goodliness spread. Other bullet journalists call this their habit trackers. I just like to call it Goodliness just because it reminds me that I'm doing these things to be a better person. So this spread, I wanted to tie in some musical instruments and like the spiritual side of South Korea. So this instrument here that I'm using as my lines for my habit trackers is an instrument called a Kayagum. Then at the top of the page, I've included another circular symbol that is a form of the Taegeuk from the flag, but it's got an extra swirl in it, which is actually representing humanity. So it's called the Sam Taegeuk. Now the song Arirang came up a lot in my research of South Korea, and it's basically almost like their national anthem. It's very difficult to emphasize how much this song means to them, but it's basically like it embodies the unique energy of the Korean people. And so it's got the strength to unite them and enlightens the body and spirit. It's massive in their culture. So I wanted to get that into the spread somehow. So I thought I would write the word because I couldn't express it any other way. And then I've put the national animal of the tiger, the Siberian tiger, sitting inside it. So it's a bit of a mixed bag on this spread. But yeah, I just wanted to get as much elements as I could out to try and express the spiritual side of their culture. And now we're on to the final page of the setup, which is my weekly spread for week 1 of September. Now there are 5 palaces in South Korea to choose from. I wanted to choose one that had maybe the most relevance. This one is the only UNESCO World Heritage Site and it's called Changdeokgung Palace, and it actually comes with this beautiful secret garden. So I found an image that had this garden and the buildings, the palace in shot as well, and I loved it and I totally want to go and visit this place. It looks amazing. Apparently when they designed it, they tried to make it part of the nature around it rather than building the gardens around the palace. They sort of built the palace to suit the gardens, which I thought was very nice. You'll notice for these 2 last pages, I've gone back to using my basic black and gold, and that is purely because I kind of got over the neon. It was a little bit too in your face and I just wanted to bring it back down, make it a little bit more relaxed for the end of this setup. And then that will follow on into my weekly setups as well. And if you want to see more of my content, please feel free to click that subscribe button. So in my last video, I showcased my new bullet journal that I've created, and the one I'm using today is my elephants one, but I've also created an Australian native themed cover. I'd like to start creating a cover for each month's country. So my question to you guys is, would you like to see a South Korean themed cover? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up to help me out, and then I can see you next week. Bye.